In 2012, 149 people died on Irish roads. Up until the 22nd of November, that number is up to 167. Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. Tonight's speech was originally called Road Rage, but firstly I tilt my hat to Mr. Michael Kenny for a speech of the same name recently, so I decided to change it. But more important was what I wanted you to do leaving here tonight. And you guessed it, fits of road rage, wasn't it? So when we look at road users, they break down into three main categories. You've got your pedestrians, your cyclists, and your motorists. So if we stroll down through what the pedestrians do, how many times have you seen this at night, where someone's walking across the road in dark clothes, really ambling, not really paying attention, on seeing the oncoming car, they barely turn their head and make no effort to speed up. Personally, I feel I don't trust the driver behind the wheel of the car, nothing personal, but I wouldn't. And secondly, how can I trust the brakes even if he does react on time? It's not a risk I'm willing to take. And then we also have to think of the example we're setting. Now obviously many of you have kids and you're probably thinking of that. But I really got a fright a few weeks ago, Toastmasters. I was crossing the road between the two shopping centres in Blackrock, and a little impatient, and I was officially working. I just walked across the road, and I got to the middle aisle and the traffic was coming, and I thought, and then I look over my shoulder, and I see this little old lady on a Zimmer frame. Now she had crossed the road because of me. I didn't realise it. She was paying attention to my action and trusting me to cross the road. Would never have thought it, and up until that day I never have. And I honestly don't think anyone else really does. Anyone I've said it to never gave that a consideration. So I ask you to consider what your actions are and maybe be that little bit more patient. But then as we pedal on to the cyclists, the very first piece of thing I would like to say to the commuter cyclist is this. When you're going to work, it's not the Tour de France. Okay? Every day on the N11 you see people, and they're in the bus lane, the cycle track itself, surprisingly enough, and in between the lanes of traffic. More shocking is they're not wearing helmets. I mean, helmets are life and death stuff, literally. There's not an exaggeration in saying that. It dumbfounds me that they carry on like this, and it really is a high risk in that. And I would urge them all to take note. And the other thing that I think they should all take a note of is the rules of the road apply to them. And I mean, red lights. Instead of doing this shaky thing, back pedal forward, pedal go over the side, stop. Just put your foot down. If you're wearing the clip-on shoes, they do clip out. You have to get off the bike at some point. I'll leave cyclists alone, as I know my evaluator cycles to work from time to time, so I don't want to be too hard on people. So, as we drive on to the motorists, we all learned MSM, mirror signal maneuver. Not do what the hell you like, whenever the hell you like. And you see this every day. Ladies, I'm sorry, but the mirrors are not for hair and makeup. And men, it's not for picking your nose and seeing if you can touch the brain. I am not exaggerating. I was coming home from the last meeting, and I was at the end of the Brewery Road, and a Golf pulls up behind me. And in fairness, she slowed and stopped a safe distance, a girl in her early 20s. And her two hands were as follows. One, phone to the ear. The other hand, not on the wheel. She was literally doing this with her hair. I was like, I said, love, do you realise how dangerous that is? You have no control over the car. However, she wasn't going to listen to me. So I said nothing. But then we have to think about mirrors and one other thing. Newer cars allow mirrors to pull in. Can I just get a show of hands? Has anyone seen people drive with their mirrors pulled in? Yes, thank you. I thought I was the only one there for a moment. Yes. How do those people know if they're turning left or right, or that they're doing it safely? These are only very small things that I'm pointing out. And another one is headlights. Nobody puts them on during the day. The RSA have a lot of statistics on this to support the strength of that and the importance of it. The reason I think people don't understand here with putting the dipped headlights on during the day is very simply, it's actually to show oncoming traffic that you're approaching rather than for your own visibility. Very small little thing, but makes a real difference to road safety. So, as I said at the start, 167 people died on the roads. And I've given a few little pointers on things that were good or bad, and things that I think we've all seen and perhaps all guilty of as well at times. But you have to really consider the risk involved. And I mean, William made a great point about it with his investment recently there, where he was offered 10 grand, oh, you get 50, but if it goes down south, you have to pay 50. You know, the risk there was phenomenal. And I think you need to think about that. So if we look at the worst case scenario, where somebody dies on the road. Well, if you're the person that dies, okay, that's it for you. It's not it for your family. Their lives go on and you're gone. If you're in mortgage, rent, paying, you're sharing, you've put enormous financial pressure, families have lost ones, and kids are probably without a parent. You really need to consider that fact, and it's a big, big deal. Then put the flip side on it. You're the one that survives, but you're responsible for somebody else dying. From a purely selfish point of view, could you really live with yourself knowing you're responsible for someone's death? That's tough. Then take that one step further. Afterwards, you'll go to jail for manslaughter for 4 years. I'm not arguing that, but you will. That devastates your family. They have your absence for 4 years, or thereabouts. They also have the media coverage that may follow and the hardship of your absence. I don't think people really consider this. Now, Toastmasters, I'll leave you with this. 167, we're up nearly 20 on last year, with the busiest time of the year to go. We really need to consider our actions, be a little bit more patient when we're listening to Christmas FM, we're driving home for Christmas. Slow down, it's okay, we'll get there on time. Do take your time to signal and make those actions. Cyclists, wear your helmets, and pedestrians, for Christ's sake, cross at pedestrian crossings. I can't stress that enough. People just walk out in front of roads, and the example we set is quite bad. I don't mean to be preachy on this, but I think it's really one of those things that we can all make a big, big difference on. Thank you very much, Toastmasters.